today for through to see an exhibition at Stills Photography in Edinburgh. It's the end of an era, working class photographers from 1989 to 2024. And it's photographers such as Elaine Constantine and Jim Mortram that are showcasing in it. And it's kind of looking at working class artists coming out of Thatcherism, and it's highlighting the fact that working class artists at that point were very politically engaged and therefore producing work of working class communities by working class people, which is something that's close to my heart, and also something that I spoke about in earlier videos around about how does your background and your life experience shape the type of photography that you do. So really keen to see this. Unfortunately, it's the last 2 days. You'll catch it right up to Saturday this week, the 28th I think it is. I thought it was finishing on Friday, but it's actually Saturday, so you still have a chance if you're running about Edinburgh over the next couple of days. So that's what I'm up to today. Well, it's been a few days since I've attended the After the End of History photo exhibition in Stills in Edinburgh. The exhibition was absolutely fantastic. It's taken me a few days really to, I suppose, just process what I've seen there. It sits really, really closely with what I was talking about in the first couple of episodes of my YouTube channel, I suppose, in regards to how our identity and our background shape the photographs that we take. One of the things that was really good about the exhibition I found was that there was a narrative that went with the photographs, and there was only maybe about 4 images from each of the photographers. So there was a lot of photographers with work on show. And in this segment, I'm just going to pick out a couple of things that really stood out to me. Chris Shaw, there was a quote from him saying that he took photographs to keep him awake. Now, Chris was talking really about the ability to keep himself awake whilst he was doing night shift in the bus station. And that really resonated with me because I think I take photographs to stay awake politically and socially. So we often hear the question, why? What's your why for photography? And I think my why is to stay politically and socially awake. There was lots of photographers on show, as I say. Hannah Starkey had quite a striking image, and I'll show a clip of that in part of the video footage of a girl walking past the murals in Belfast, with the Loyalist murals in Belfast, and it's a real good example of, I suppose, how she uses her photography to bring together class, gender and race, and a lot of the times, and about how the urban environment can impact on people. There was lots of strong work there, and it really sort of got me thinking about my why, which I'll come back to. But one of the projects I've been working or trying to get off the ground recently is in the area that I grew up, and the area's been built now for about 50 years, coming up in 50 years, and I wanted to kind of explore how it is to live there now compared to when I was a child. And when I was a child, it was a new development, so everything was new. There was new there's public services already there, and a sports centre that had been there for a long, long time. But there was also new play parks, new green areas, and it was a good place to live as a child. And when I'm back to photograph, I'm struck by the lack of people in the environment, especially at the weekends, where you would be expecting lots of kids to be about playing in the play parks, etc. But the play parks are pretty run down, and probably not necessarily where people want to play. The sports areas, such as the basketball courts, football courts, are locked off. Without, you can get access if you climb over the fence, etc., which is probably what we'd have done when we were kids. But they're not accessible for the community. There's a sports centre right in the middle of it, with a swimming pool, gym, saunas, etc. Sports classes would usually have been on. It would have usually been pretty vibrant. They're now operating a reduced service and limited opening times, closed most of the weekend, and closed in the evenings when people who would be wanting to access it would be accessing it. So one of the photographers at the exhibition, Natasha Edgington, she has photographed something similar, and what she's done is she's photographed the emptiness, and I suppose it's the emptiness that is left behind after decades of Tory austerity, lack of investment, which is leading to the sports centres, etc., being closed. So she's chosen to document the neglect of an area and the emptiness of an area due to those austerity cuts. And what it is basically an attack on working class communities. So if we sum it up as such, then that's what it is. So I'm going to finish there, and I'm just going to reflect on how this is impacting my why. So I'm often thinking about what's the why of my photography, why do I photograph? And Chris Shaw photographed in his night shift job at the bus station, and what he said was he photographed to stay awake, and that was to physically stay awake. And I think what I'm finding is that my photography is my way of staying awake, and but I mean staying awake in regards to culturally, socially, and effectively artistically, just staying awake overall socially is what my photography has given me at the moment. And going to that exhibition last week helped me find that. So my why is to stay awake socially. Okay, I'll end the video here. There might be another few clips, but I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.